Hi everybody, my name is Derek. I'm a two-time cancer survivor. I'm 18 years old and I've never really done one of these videos before, so kind of bear with me, but I'm going to tell you about my story, and I hope that in some way it inspires you, whether you're going through cancer yourself or you're facing anything hard in your life right now, and I hope that my story somehow inspires you and helps you out. So I first got diagnosed with ALL leukemia when I was 5 years old, and I remember most of it, but I was still too young to understand what it kind of was. I thought it was just a way of life back then, and I thought it was kind of something that everybody went through because I was so young, and that's just how I thought the world was, basically. And everything worked out and went fine, and I was considered cured in 2004 after that, after my 5-year mark, because they consider you cured after your 5 years of you being cancer-free, and if nothing shows up, then you're considered cured. So I was considered cured in 2004, and I went on up until last year, my junior year, and on April 8, 2011, I found out that I was diagnosed with it again. And because earlier in that year, I was always feeling tired and exhausted from everything, and I didn't know why. I mean, usually it was because around that time of the year, exams at school were happening, and I was always tired every year because of exams, and because I had show choir competitions to go to, and practices, and musical practices, so my schedule was always pretty busy, and I always had something to do that was keeping me busy and tired, and I just kept feeling, more tired that year, more than usual, during that time period. And so, I kind of just brushed it off. I figured I was, taking too much on, and, I started getting pains in my collarbone right here. And it was so bad that I would lay right here in my bed and I wouldn't be able to get up. I would have to put my hand on my shoulder and raise myself up because it hurt that bad, and I thought it was broken. And we went to the doctors, and I got x-rays on it, and the x-rays came out fine. Nothing was broken, fractured, because I've never broken anything in my life, knock on wood. And, that was fine. So we're like, okay, something's definitely up. And I got my blood drawn. They were having my blood drawn once every week for 6 weeks to find out what it was. And they couldn't find anything from it. So after those 6 weeks, they decided, okay, we need to test his bone marrow, because if we test that, we can see it closer under the microscope. We can find out what it is quicker. So they did that, and I was nervous because, I'd had bone marrow tests and spinal taps when I was younger from going through leukemia the first time. And so I knew it wasn't really that good, but I really wasn't expecting that because the doctors had just suspected that it was mono that I had at the time, and I wasn't expecting that answer. And so I was sitting in the hospital room with my parents after the bone marrow test procedure was done, waiting for the results. Then the doctor came in and had this serious look on his face, and I just felt so alert at that point. And he told me, he said, you have cancer and your leukemia is back. And that moment, my world completely turned just completely upside down. And I didn't know how to really take it at first. I was just in so much shock. And then once my parents started, it registered with them. They came over and they hugged me and they were crying, and then I started crying really hard. And then immediately I called my best friend Abby. She was the first person that I felt like I had to call because she was my best friend, and she had just gotten out of school right as soon as I called her. And I called her and I said, Abby, I said, something is terribly wrong. And she said, what? No, nothing's wrong, everything is fine. And I said, Abby, no, I have leukemia again. And the conversation on the phone lasted for 10 to 15 more minutes, and the rest of the conversation included nothing but just crying the whole time, back and forth, her and me just crying for 10 minutes, at least from what I can remember from the conversation. That's how it happened. And immediately doctors took plan of action from then. They wanted, they had everything lined up for me, like with my chemo treatments that I was supposed to take, and it was supposed to last throughout the summer and everything, and I got diagnosed on April 8th, and Easter was a few weeks later, and I had started chemo treatments before Easter, and I was given this big, heavy dosage, and then my hair started to fall out on Easter, actually, and I can remember because I was getting ready, I got out of the shower, and I was fixing my hair, and it just started falling out, and I was like, great, it started. And then I just remember feeling really bad that Easter, upset. I was pretty pissed off and angry, and then I came to school the day after Easter, and I was upset. Everybody at school knew it was wrong with me at that point, but, I was in a pretty bad mood that day, and everyone was like, Derrick, what's wrong? And I said, my freaking hair is falling out, and I took it in big clumps, and everybody kind of freaked out when I did that. They're like, don't do that again. It's going to all fall out at once. And I had my school musical to do a few weeks later after that. And I was in the hospital for all of the dress rehearsals. And I wasn't there at all. I mean, I still knew everything, but I had to learn everything last minute when I got there on opening night. And it was pretty tough the morning before opening night because I was in so much pain. The chemo treatments had messed with my insides so much, and they tore my system up. And I just remember I was in the bathroom screaming in pain, and the steroids that I was on at the time that they gave me, they had the suicidal thoughts with them. So I remember when I was in so much pain screaming, I was screaming, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to kill myself, I wish I was dead. And it was just a completely awful morning. But somehow I managed to do my musical that night. I don't know how. It was it was definitely a miracle. I can definitely say that. I did my school musical that night. I was a lead role. They didn't have any backup. So I had to do it. And I did it for 3 nights in a row despite all my pain. And then over the summer we found out that, they tested my brother to see if he would be a bone marrow transplant match, and because my doctors wanted to take that route so I would have a greater chance of a cure rate, basically. And so they tested him, and it is it's a 25% chance that your sibling is actually going to match you, and it's a rare thing that if they completely match you. And we got the test results back, and he completely matched me. So the doctors were like, yeah, he completely matches you, and we definitely, we recommend that you get this bone marrow transplant, because otherwise I would be on chemo for 3 years, and I would still be on chemo right now. But, so the hospital that I usually go to, they don't do bone marrow transplants because their unit isn't big enough, and they don't have as high of a demand for it up there. So I had to go to another hospital 80 miles away from my home, and I had to stay there for 3 months, and I got my bone marrow transplant, and my brother was extremely nervous that day before donation. He, it didn't really hit him what was happening until, he got to that point when he was in the surgery department, and he started crying and everything, and I guess, as soon as they put him out, and then they got the bone marrow extracted from him, he was fine. He recovered well, and I got my bone marrow transplant that day on August 30th, and it was in a big, huge bag. It was just ginormous, and it took 6 hours to infuse through my port, and, the port is just a completely different story, because the port is this round thing that they insert into your chest, and then they stick a needle through it with a line, and then that's how you get your chemo treatments and your infusions and stuff. So that's how my bone marrow transplant went through for my brother. And I was always scared when that was accessed. I would literally hold on my mom's hand every time when they would poke me in the chest, and I would cry like a baby. It was pretty much pure torture, and it was hell. And so anyways, I got my transplant that day, and then it just all kind of went downhill from there. because the effects that came with the transplant, which were normal effects, like I had this throat infection where my throat was swollen, and I couldn't swallow anything for a whole entire month. So that meant that I didn't eat anything for an entire month, and I was fed through IV for that whole entire month, and I was laying in bed so long that I lost all my muscle mass, and when I stood up, I could barely even walk, and I pretty much looked stupid trying to walk through the hallways with physical therapy, because I would wobble from side to side because, you know, my balance was off, and from laying that long in bed, and I basically felt like a toddler having to teach himself to walk again, and it just wasn't fun at all, and my energy was bad. I threw up every single day for 3 months while I was down there, just because of all the stress and all the treatments and medications I was on, and I can't, looking back on it, I can't really believe that I went through it. It kind of seems like a nightmare, but as time went on, things got better. I lost 30 pounds just from not eating when I was in the hospital, so 30 pounds for 30 days of that month, so you figure it's probably a pound a day. I mean, that's pretty much what it equals to. And I came home on November 11th from that hospital, and things have been going in my favor since. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to me from here on out. I mean, I'm considered cancer-free right now. I'm not considered cured because I haven't reached my 5-year mark, and I don't know what's going to happen between these 5 years, if anything's going to pop up or not, but all I know is all I have is now. All I have is this moment in my life, and that's all I can think about, and I can't worry about what tomorrow brings because not everybody gets a tomorrow. So I should be happy that I have this moment, and I am so thankful, and I am so blessed by God to be in where I am right now, because I know for a fact that all the faith that I put in Him is what has saved me. And my message to you is, no matter what you go through like that, you always have to have faith, because faith and trust is what is going to get you through your hard times. And yeah, all I gotta say is, I'm just trying to have as much fun in my life as I can right now, and I'm trying to have a better outlook of things, and I'm just so happy to be where I am right now, and I hope that somehow, like I said in the beginning of this video, that I inspired you in some way, and I hope that I can be a help to you by you watching this, and I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you if you are facing hard times right now, and that you're not alone. I've been where you've been, and there is an outcome. I'm here to tell you that there is a way, and that you should stay holding on to it for as long as you can. Don't let go. And thank you for watching this video, hopefully, and I hope you liked it, and I will see you later. Bye.